What's happening, sir? How are you?
I'm good, man. Now that we got the audio figured out.
Yeah, I knew we'd get it, man, for sure. Thanks for coming on, brother. It's a pleasure.
Thanks for having me on, man. Super stoked.
Absolutely, man. It's cool. I just got off the phone with Timmy. Kennedy was on his
Oh,
way.
nice.
He's doing a Brian Kilmeade's show today, so he's on right now, and they're gonna do an hour and talking all about these young gentlemen that we got here with us today, man. So it's
Oh,
cool.
that's
So
amazing.
I told him you were coming on, so he said to tell you hi. It's great, man. And so just to make sure you got an overview, these are just a few of the guys that we've got. I think we've got 27, 28 of them on with us right now. A few of the guys that we've
What's
got.
up, everybody?
Dude, bunch of young leaders right here, sir.
That's right.
Young leaders. It's great, man. We get to do this every week. We get to
Alon,
put
this
these
is
guys
awesome.
every single week, man, and bring the best of the best
Yeah.
in. And goes out to hundreds of thousands of people as well on a podcast. So it's just wins all around, brother. So thank you for taking the time, man.
Of course. It's a pleasure.
So I want to just chat with you here for a few, man. We're gonna get the Eric Leija story, and you and I'll chat a little bit, but then I'll be quiet and we'll let all these young men come in and they'll ask all the good questions, man, and we'll have fun for an hour.
Yeah,
So
I'm stoked.
that's the way to go. But you, dude, I've been following you for quite a while. We have a lot of mutual friends too, man. I don't know how many, but I feel like we have a bunch. I saw you working out with Bridges, and I know Bridges. Was Danny out there, Castillo?
Yeah, Danny Castillo?
Dude, so all right. So I live in North Carolina now. In the mountains out here now, but I'm born and raised California. And like 2008 to 2022, we were in the SAC area, and I'd go over and help, guys with fight camps and stuff. So Danny and my sister were together for like 3 years, man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we became really tight, really close. He's got a great lady. He's a good guy, man. He's one of my boys, man. So yeah, for sure. So it's cool, man. It's cool to get to connect with you. So I want to dive into your story a little bit, man. And I like to take our guests back to, we got some of these young guys that are 12, 13, 14, right up to like 16, 17, 18. So I like to go back in time, man, and go, all right, who's Eric at like 12, 13?
Oh, man.
Yeah. Does he have it figured out, or is he in trouble? Like, what's going on with this kid? Yeah, we think we did.
What I was gonna do. I was gonna be a personal trainer. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I had
right?
to figure it out.
Yeah.
What did I want to do growing up? I wanted to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know if you kids nowadays know who that is, but he's a legend in bodybuilding, the most fit guy in the world. Honestly, I wanted to be like my older brother and my dad. Growing up, they were always working out, super great shape. But I'm Mexican, so growing up, we ate a lot. I mean, traditionally, Americans, we all like to eat a lot. We indulge, but Mexicans in particular, we like to overindulge on lots of Mexican food, cheese. So growing up, I was a chubby kid, and especially in middle school, 11, 12 years old is when, I started thinking, I need to get my life together, because my sister would make fun of me and my brother. They would call me fat and chubby. They're like, you got man boobs. They would pinch me like, you're never going to have a girlfriend looking like that. And I was like, oh man, I want a girlfriend so bad. In middle school, everybody started a date. And I'm just like, man, like I need to get in shape. And so it turned from, that summer after like 7th grade, I started running. I picked up the Arnold Schwarzenegger Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding. I took some tips out of that, started working out every day, and I quickly lost all the body fat over the summer. Going into 8th grade, I was in shape. Everybody used to call me muscles back then, or swole. And it was cool, man. But it quickly became from trying to get girls to like, man, this is a cool lifestyle. Because I would influence my family members, like, because I was eating healthier in the house. They were like, oh, maybe we should try that too. So that Eric can, stick to his diet, we should, do it too, alongside with him. So it helped all of the families start kind of adapting some healthier habits. And so I started noticing how adopting healthy lifestyle for myself influenced people around me. So that was a super powerful effect, especially at school, walking around, being in shape, being like the most like muscled up guy. People would ask me questions, like, oh, what do you do to get in shape? What are you eating? So I was in gym class, giving people pointers and showing people how to work out. So, I quickly went from being the chubby kid, trying to get girls, super insecure, to, kind of confident, more confident than I was before, with actually like good information that I was constantly searching for too. I was on like T Nation, bodybuilding.com, searching for information on that I could get better for them. And I remember lying to the people at Gold's Gym, because you couldn't get into the gym until you were 13 years old. I was like, hey, I'm 13, but I was 12 at the time. I think my dad signed off for me. So I started going to Gold, started meeting people in there, and just quickly fell in love with the active lifestyle, and got into martial arts from there. And I remember jiu-jitsu and kickboxing and boxing. And that's when like surrounding myself, like, so keep in mind, I got in shape, right? I was super fit looking. I looked like I was in shape. Right. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go in here. I'm strong. I'm going to try to, put it to the test, because MMA was getting big at the time, is when it barely started blowing up. And I was like, I want to be an MMA fighter. Like, I want to try this out. So I started doing some jiu-jitsu. And I took my first class. I remember getting beat up by everybody.
Yeah.
They were mopping the floor with me. I was like, man, like I look like I'm strong, but I can't keep up with anybody. So that's when I really got into the martial arts and the training and conditioning that it took for that. I started using kettlebells and unconventional training that a lot of the guys in the gym were doing. So that's when I started doing more of functional style training. So and the biggest part for me, though, from the martial arts training, was the camaraderie and finding that tribe of dudes and men that I connected with, where we would beat each other up and still like love each other, because we were helping each other get better. Because when you can like go to war with somebody and like you come out stronger because you respect each other, because you've both been through hardship. So for me,
so good.
That was better than bodybuilding in the gym, better than anything, is like grinding it out, beating each other up, because you earn each other's respect. And that's honestly what I've been seeking recently, since I've been super deep in the fitness industry, is now trying to find that camaraderie again. I'm probably gonna start getting back into martial arts, but started doing some small men's groups and going to meetings throughout the week, where I connect with other men, where we talk about what we're going through, we work out together, and it's been good, man.
So freaking rad, man. So, dude, I'm listening to this. There's so many parallels. There's a lot I want to unpack there too, and a lot of parallels with my own journey. And I identify so much with what you're talking about. You're talking about Arnold as that old school guy. Like we had heroes to look up to, which is an interesting thing. Like when we grew up, right, we had guys like Arnold, we had Stallone, we had Van Damme, right? Like these are the guys, right? These are the guys that we're looking at, though, and we're like, all right, they're jacked. And yeah, it's a movie, but man, they're jacked, they're capable, they're going after a purpose, they're helping other people, right? Like those were our guys to look up to. And, part of me hurts for some of these younger guys, because you look at some of the guys in the movie now, and it's more of an effeminate thing, and they don't bring that. There's a little bit of like questioning the morality, and it just, man, I think that culture matters, man. We were spoiled with that.
Yeah.
I think that was a big thing for us, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We grew up in a good time, and I think it's really important for us to try to keep that going. Things have gotten kind of soft. But I know a lot of kids see through that,
Yes, sir. Agreed.
With strong male figures in their lives. They're like, yeah, like my dad or my uncle, they told me that stuff is BS.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Super grateful for that.
Watch those old school movies, watch some boxing matches.
It's the good stuff, man. Yeah, no, and these guys are very much, in line with that. It was really cool. We had it was the New York Times reached out, and they're like, hey, I know, you and Tim have this group for the young men. I know you guys have a group for men. What are they saying about, Andrew Tate? This is before Tate went to prison, right? And they're like, what are they saying about Andrew Tate? I'm like, we don't really talk about him that much. And they're like, well, do you guys work with him at all? I said, no, I've talked to him, but I don't know the man. I don't, there's things that he says that sound legit, and then there's things that he says where I'm like, well, I don't agree with that, but we don't talk about him. They're like, well, could we talk to some of your young men? about what he says? I said, sure. So hooked him up with a few of these guys. The reporter called me after talking to a few of our young men here.
Yeah.
And she's like, I've never seen a group of young men that didn't care, like could have cared any less about Andrew Tate, because they were all just on their own mission of being good men.
That's right.
You know, she's like, I don't even know if I can run the story, because we were looking for him. And I'm like, dude, I believe, like, they don't care, man. They want to do the right thing, and they're looking up to good men.
That's awesome. Yeah, man, because there are a lot of role models out there that are like super crazy. But I think it's super great to have young men that can discern the difference between what's useful and what's not. You know, you can look up to some guys who were kind of crazy, but they got some good qualities about them, but you just take the good and you throw away the bad, you know?
Bingo. That's exactly it, man. So, you know, you're talking about when you were talking about that transformation, I'm interested in what that did for your psyche. Because you said, you know, you came back and you had some more confidence, right? But confidence, I always tell these guys, confidence is something that has to be earned. Cockiness, you can pull off a shelf, you know, and you know, you can pretend all you want, but confidence is something that's earned, and it's earned through doing the work and putting in the reps.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, you got yourself in shape, and you come out and you get some of this confidence, and then you're able to start helping more people. I love that trajectory. And you mentioned your brother and your dad as being role models, and that's freaking fantastic, man. What was it about them? Was it the way they were living their life and their standard? Was it how they treated you, how they treated other people? Like, what was that example that fired you up?
The way that the way they treated family and their friends. For my dad, it was the way he was able to support pretty much our entire family, from my brother, my sister, my mother, but also our extended family, his brothers, my uncles, his sisters. You know, we're all come from most of my family's from Mexico, and they immigrated to the United States. And he was kind of like the patriarch, to where he started a family business of trucking, and he taught all of his brothers and cousins how to drive trucks and how to, you know, drive cross country. And he was able to support the whole family and teach them, and they all looked up to him. And at the same time, he worked out, stayed in shape while still trucking, you know, long hours, working, you know, super late night. He would still stay in shape. And so I looked up to him for that, for being a provider, but also maintaining his fitness. And I looked up to my brother for being just like really street smart. Like, we grew up in a kind of a ghetto part of town. So he went through kind of in like southeast Austin, Texas.
Okay, gotcha.
It's not like the worst part of the country, but, you know, comparatively, it was kind of ghetto. And so he was always getting into street fights. And so I looked up to him because he was able to learn, you know, how to take care of himself, because, you know, mom and dad worked a lot. He took care of himself, and he took care of me and my sister. And at the same time, he ended up going from being a street kid to getting a college education and developing a network of highly respected people like Tim Kennedy, other UFC fighters. He became a prominent trainer in strength and conditioning. You know, he took his street smarts and, you know, being, you know, growing up in the streets, to working hard in the gym and learning all the methods that these highly trained athletes wanted to learn from him. And he had the grit to, you know, hang alongside them. And so I was like, man, like, my brother's a badass, not only because he can coach all these badass athletes and they relate to him because he's been through hardship himself, but also because he's a really nice guy, you know, like, even though he's like been through all this hard stuff, been jumped and beat up and beat people up, and, like, you know, been through some hard times, he's still really nice to everybody. He's one of the top female men that coaches females, even to this day, you know, because he's like a teddy bear. Even though he's a hard guy, he's one of the nicest people we'll meet. And so for me, those are the qualities that I see in men that I really admire, is being a provider and working hard, but also having gone through hard stuff, doing the hard work, and not being cocky because of it, but being nice to everybody, because knowing that they didn't get through that on their own, you know. You do it together with your community, and it's important to give back and be nice to everybody. It's just like when I was growing up, I was super insecure, and I thought getting muscled up and in shape was going to help me become more confident, but it didn't. I was just I had more muscles. I ended up realizing, like, man, this is not what it takes. I want to try to fight. Maybe that'll make me more confident, and then I can get girls.
Yeah.
It didn't help me get girls, but I learned how to fight, and I got beat up, and I did develop the confidence to know that, not that I could handle myself in a fight better, obviously, but that I could endure hard stuff. Like, because I would get beat up, and it gave me the confidence to know that I can stick it out.
That's right.
I can keep getting beat up, and at the end of the day, after a few weeks, if I just keep going, I'm eventually gonna get better and start, beating those guys up that were beating me up when I first started. And then it goes back and forth, and then we all get better together. And just knowing that you can endure, and if you just keep showing up, put in the work, like, you're gonna get better. It's not gonna be easy, but that is what gives you the most confidence, knowing that you can stick things out.
You guys, I hope you understand the wisdom of that right there. The fact that you learn that you can get back up. That is it. When we talk about, you hear the cliches about, you learn through failing, and it's like you win or you learn. And yeah, all of those are true, but they're true because of what Mr. Leija just said right there. It's because in those failings, that moment, that's the learning opportunity, is, do you get back up? Do you get back up? If you will continue to get back up, then you can't be stopped. That's it. I remember going to, it's funny talking about, the transition into martial arts, and I grew up kickboxing a little bit. Dennis Alexio was my coach. He played Van Damme's brother in the movie Kickboxer, right?
Oh, wow.
The beard, right? So he's from our hometown in California. So that was my kickboxing coach growing up. So I feel like I can scrap, and I got, 100 fights or so on the kickboxing side, right? And then I'm walking past this mat room one day in college, and I see these guys in there, and they're kind of wrestling, and I'm like, well, what is it? What is this? Like, what's going on over here? And I'm like, well, I can fight them, so I'm gonna go in there and show them what's up, right? And I go in there and just got destroyed, and it's
wrestlers.
They were all grappling, right? So it was Jason was one of Ken Shamrock's original Lions Den boys, right? Mikey Burnett, who was one of the OG, UFC fighters, and Pat Minahan, who went 7-0 under Javier Mendez at AKA. It was those three guys that were in there, and so they just beat the snot out of me, man. But they're like, dude, if you keep coming back, that's how we know your game, and it was the same thing. So I kept coming back, man, kept getting beat up. But that's it. Like, that was, and those are the lessons. Keep coming back. You do that, man, you're unstoppable when you play that kind of infinite game.
That's right. Yeah. And so, like, going through that hard stuff in practice and combat, like, dude, now anytime I do anything, I'm not afraid to do anything, because I know that if I fail, I'll just keep trying, or I ask for help. That was one of the biggest things that I learned in my journey in fitness and in my career, is like, man, you can get a lot further, a lot faster if you ask for help.
Yes, sir.
I had a hard time learning that, growing up. I would always think, oh, I'll figure it out. I'll read the books. I'll read the math equations over and over again. I'll write out the vocabulary word, or the definition for the word as many times as I can until I memorize it, instead of asking for tips on how to find a different way to learn things. And now that I'm older, if I'm dealing with a situation that somebody's already done before, I go ask them for tips. And usually when you ask somebody for help, I used to be embarrassed, like, oh man, they're not gonna want to, I'm gonna waste their time, because like they're already doing their own thing. They're super busy. They're not gonna want to help me. Like, I don't want to waste anybody's time because I'm over here not knowing what I'm doing. But when you ask somebody for help, usually it's a huge benefit for them, because they get to practice what they're already good at, and it helps them sharpen their skills by helping you out. So that's
huge.
It's taken the fear away from me to ask for help, and it's helped me get a lot further along than I would have ever gotten if I hadn't asked for help. It makes me an even better coach and teacher, because I know the value in helping other people is not only is it going to help them, but it's going to help me. So when people help each other, it goes full circle. Everybody gets better.
Story, man. True story. So as you're learning this lesson, right, and you start learning this through, and you learn that very lesson in martial arts, as you start transitioning your own career and your own business. I want to talk about what you're doing with that, because you're helping a lot of people, you're coaching a lot of people. And I want to talk about what you've built, because I love, there's a very unique, way that you've approached it, and it's been wildly successful, partially because it's wildly beneficial. And I mean, it's just legit good stuff. But who helped you in that process as you were building out your business, right? Who are the people you look to as mentors for help in that regard? And then I want to tell these guys a little bit about what your business looks like. Like, what does your day-to-day look like? What kind of things are you coaching and building out? But first, who are the mentors that kind of helped you to learn the
yeah, so my mentors, first and foremost, were my older brother.
Yeah.
You know, he's the best coach. He still is one of the top coaches here in Austin, Texas. So I learned a lot from him when it comes to like doing business and marketing yourself, like in the community. And then, but also John Wolf, he was the former chief of fitness at On It. He's from California, but he's one of the top unconventional coaches, studied with some of the top unconventional methods in the industry. So I learned from him for several years. Also Shane Hines, another great coach as well. And Marcus Martinez, he's like the kettlebell exercises guy on Instagram. I was assistant coach to him, had a lot of kettlebell certifications. He was the master kettlebell coach. I learned so much from him. But yeah, they were my mentors. I got to learn so much from them. John Wolf and Shane Hines, especially, because they had so much experience, not only in training, but also in running a business. John Wolf ran a gym out in California. Shane Hines was in the filming industry and editing. And so during our time at On It, in the On It gym, when I was working closely with them, when we first started, like, hey guys, you guys need to market yourself better and get on social media. And like, I was like, man, I don't want to be on social media. I think that stuff is silly. I don't want to be taking selfies and putting it online. But they're like, no, you have to connect with other people, show them what you're doing so that you can bring people into the gym. Like, don't look at it as like a showing off thing, but as showing people what you do type of thing.
Showing them what's possible.
Yeah, showing what's possible. And so they taught me a lot about all of that stuff, on how to train, how to market yourself, and how to edit videos, which is what has helped me tremendously with my online coaching business.
That's awesome, man. I love that. Yeah. And I remember first time being introduced to kettlebells was a guy, an OG, and he's come on with these guys too, named Steve Maxwell, man. You remember Maxwell?
Yeah.
Old school.
Yeah, I mean, watch some of his DVDs.
For sure, man. For sure. So Steve was one of the OGs in that space. And I've been connected with Steve for a number of years now. Such a good guy, man, and just a OG Gracie black belt, and just a stud of a man.
Under Ken Blackburn, which is one of the coaches from the same KFF.
Yes,
I think Steve Maxwell was doing as well.
I think you're right, man. Yeah. So I remember seeing that, but that, I love watching your flows, man, the things that you post, and the flows that you put together with the kettlebells. And I mean, it's beautiful, man. So is a lot of that experimentation, more than anything else, or are those a result of like conversations, or is it just personal experimentation? How do you decide what kind of flows you dig and then what you're going to use to help your clients?
Yeah, so a lot of the flows that I post and I share, those are like fun exploration movements, but also the more fundamental ones where it's like a push-up, a squat, and a press. Those are ones that I like to teach my clients so that they can progress to some more advanced stuff if that's what they want to do. But for the most part, with all of my clients, I like to 95% of the time we focus on the fundamentals, because you got to get the most out of the least, is what I like to say. That way, when you sprinkle in the fancier stuff, you can get more out of that and more out of everything. Because if you're constantly doing hard, like if you jump to all the hard stuff really fast, you're gonna like eliminate all the results that you could have gotten by taking your time one step at a time and really maximizing all the juice you could squeeze out of just a squat, just a press. So, but even once we get to the top, we still keep cycling back through all the fundamentals. We stick with the basics, because that's where you're going to get the most growth, because it's the easiest thing to do. It's like the more you can train, the more you can, actually do a movement, the more you're going to get out of it. So the flows and all that, the fun stuff that I like to post, that's 5% of what we do. It's mostly to have fun, switch it up, and kind of to get more of a cardio and conditioning workout, which is great for a lot of the athletes who are really like the fighters and the guys who are really trying to push themselves conditioning wise. That's the guys that I'll have do those really hard, fun flows. But for the most part, for the general population, your grandma and grandpa who just want to live longer, live better, move better, I'll have them do just the basics. And every now and then we'll throw in some little carrots.
Gentlemen, like think about what Mr. Leija is saying here. And last week we had Stan Efferding on, right? OG in lifting, right? Stan is the Stan was saying the same thing. He's saying, look, man, if you will focus on the fundamentals, that is going to be the thing that is going to create the biggest bang for your buck. And it's something that you will continuously go back to. And it's such a metaphor for everything else, because you see, whether it's the great fighters, some of them may have some of the flashy moves and something, but all of them will say, look, man, there are the fundamental aspects. There are fundamental moves. There are my fundamental go-tos. Like, I'm always going to work the fundamentals. Any athlete's going to work the fundamentals. As you go to be an entrepreneur, yes, you can add all these fancy things and you can get the fancy editing and you can do it, but it's the fundamentals that are going to make the business grow. And that's what it is, man. 24/7 on the business. And gentlemen, I know I want you guys to be able to jump in. So if you guys have questions, go ahead and start putting your hands up. I'll start calling you guys here in just 1 second as well. But on the business side, day to day too, because I want our listeners to be able to hear this too. What is the majority of your day kind of broken down into? How much training are you doing? How much are you producing and, kind of producing videos? Are you doing more of like running, like working on the business kind of stuff? What's kind of your day breakdown look like?
Yeah. So my day-to-day breakdown, I usually wake up 4, 5:30 or 5 in the morning. Do a 10-minute like red light stretching. I'll do 30 minutes of some low intensity cardio or endurance work. I'll ride my bike or do some skier just to get the heart rate going. And then I'll do a cold plunge for 3 to 5 minutes. And if there's time, I don't got meetings like right after, I'll try to do sauna for 15 to 20 minutes. So usually the first hour and a half are dedicated to just me moving, getting my head in the zone, getting the blood pumping. And that cold plunge for me, for me, I like to say, do something hard first thing in the morning.
Sure.
Helps set the tone for the rest of the day. Because if you can start your day with a win, it's like it helps you kind of steamroll through the rest of the day. So I recommend for you kids, try to do something hard every morning, whether it's wake up, do 20 push-ups or 100 air squats, challenge yourself to do something. You can switch it up every week, or do a cold shower for 3 minutes, and then wash your butt with some soap. But, try to do something hard, and that'll help you wake up and get in the zone. But for me, that's my morning. And then I'll usually do meetings with my team or calls with my clients from 10 a.m. to like 1 p.m. And then mid-afternoon, that's when I'll get my lift in 4 days a week. If it's not a lifting day, I'll do some time where I'll get back to the computer, do some more programming. So most of the day, I'm taking calls, working. If I'm not working out or training in the morning, I'm working on the business. And depending on the season, I'll be filming videos in that afternoon time as well. And depending on the way the gym works, usually if I'm not filming early morning, like I'll have to film late at night when the gym closes down and there's nobody around. I can get the audio right where I want it. And so sometimes I have to pull some late night shoots, but you gotta do what it takes.
That's awesome.
But on the regular basis, it's pretty much early morning, my own fitness, get my head in the zone. I put my phone on do not disturb. Right. I don't answer any emails. I don't answer any texts. I don't check Instagram. I don't do any posts. I might take photos of what I'm doing so I can post it later, but I do not check social media and I don't post anything till after I'm done. And then so 10 to 1, work with clients or meetings with my team. And then I'll work out from 1 to 2, 2:30, and I might film a little bit then, film some of the workout that I did. So about 3 o'clock. And then after 4, try to eat meals in between all that. And then I'll get back to the computer, work a little bit more. And in the evenings at 7 p.m., there's a lot of community meetings that I like to go to here in the community, whether it's men's groups. Usually I try to get to meetings 3 times a week to connect with people. There's like business meetings, networking meetings, men's groups. I try to do those at least 3 a week. So that's been, sometimes it feels like a lot of work, like, oh man, I don't want to go to a meeting this week, but I'm always grateful that I showed up for the community because I always connect with people. And if I'm having a down day or a down week, when I go to a meeting, there's always somebody who shares something that I connect with and resonate with and helps lift me up and gives me the tools to like, man, I didn't think about it like that. I was going through something similar. And the way he said it helps me.
That's right.
Get through it a lot easier. And so that's my typical day.
So good, man.
So Saturday, Sunday, I try to lay low. I'll still work a little bit on Saturdays. Sundays, go to church. The rest after that, hang out with family if I can. My mom lives in town, thankfully, so I hang out with her a lot. Go to church with her, and completely try to take Sundays to, like, I'll take it off in the morning, and then in the evenings I'll try to game plan for the rest of the week.
But you said a really good day. That's freaking awesome, man. And I love what you're talking about with the multitask too. And gentlemen, we can't multitask. And what he said there, he said when he's got certain things that he's got to do, Cal Newport calls it deep work, right? We're going to get into that deep work, shut off the rest of the distractions. And you guys will be tempted with all the things around you guys, with, the bombarding from text or social media or whatever it is. You guys will get tempted to try to justify that you can multitask. You can't. And I'll actually take you through an exercise a little bit later, guys, that'll prove that to you. Humans cannot multitask. We can toggle back and forth, but it's slow and it's inefficient. So if we've got some things that need to get done, turning off all distractions and a focused hour or two is going to be infinitely better than a distracted 3 or 4. Like, it's not even close. Not even close, gents. It's a must have. So I love that, man.
That's right. That's like if I try to do everything in one workout session.
That's right.
Try to hit every single body part. And the full body workouts are possible, but you still focus on just 3 to 4 moves. Not every single little muscle that you can think of. You try to do it all, you're not going to get a very good training effect.
That's right.
You really want to hammer away on those pillars, those priorities that you got, and then raise everything up on other days.
100%.
I really like Andy Frisella. Do you know who that is?
Andy came on with us. God, what did he come on with? It's probably like 8 or 9 months ago. Last time he came on with it. I think it was right before Collier jumped in, so he didn't get to.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, he's a great entrepreneur, CEO of one of the top supplement companies, but he's also a proponent of hardworking Americans and freedom. And so I really look up to him right now. He's got a lot of great things to say, and he has no BS, no filter. He keeps it real. And I really look up to his business practices and all the free advice that he gives to people, knowing that it's like, he's not a greedy person. He doesn't have a scarcity mindset. He's not scared that other people are going to take what he gives out and beat him at business. He knows that by giving out his information, it's going to help everybody elevate the playing field. And it's going to make him, if they do catch up to his business, it's going to make him get even better. So I really look up to him because of that, which is why I also look up to, at the same time, another businesswoman, entrepreneur, Cody Sanchez. She's an awesome person I really look up to. I've met her recently, and she's a very great person to look up to because she helps people become more financially literate, which is what you don't really learn a lot nowadays in school. Like, I learned nothing about credit and how to save money and how to work with my finances, especially now running my own business for the last several years. Like, if I had known more, what I would have known now, what I knew then, I would have saved a lot of money, a lot of headaches. And so Cody Sanchez is somebody I look up to for making business decisions and business advice.
Great answers. Andy came on about 8 or 9 months ago, I think. May have been a little longer, but yeah, such a good guy. I actually had sent him something this morning about coming out to, because I'll be out in Austin in October, because we got a fundraiser that we're going to do over at Sheepdog.
Oh, cool.
The guys on the list too, yeah, to come over. So I was sending them some stuff this morning. Cody is somebody that Tim just turned me on to like 2 months ago, man. She is a killer.
Dude, she's amazing.
She is
awesome.
Yeah.
So smart. Always prepared too.
Yeah.
Just awesome.
Brilliant human. Yeah. Super cool. I love those, man. I love those answers.
There's tons of body weight programs you can try, but the most basic thing you could do is like to get stronger, you want to either week over week or session to session progressively overload. So when you're doing just body weight, that can mean more reps, week to week, or like to where you're training to where it feels like those last couple reps in your set. Let's say you're doing 10 to 12 sets or 3 sets of 10 to 12 push-ups. You want to make sure those last couple reps are like really hard. So you can add like a weight vest or a little bit of weight after a couple weeks to make those reps keep getting harder, and just challenge yourself to increase the amount of reps that you're doing or the amount of weight. So I would invest in some training equipment so that eventually over time, you're going to want to be lifting some weights, because after a little bit, you're going to start getting really strong at push-ups, and it's going to get harder to get stronger with just your body weight. But there's body weights, push-ups, squats, pull-ups. You can get a pull-up bar you can hang over the door. You can also get like a suspension trainer, like a TRX. You can hook that up over your pull-up bar, do some rows, some curls, some triceps. I really recommend like a pull-up bar, TRX, and you can train with your own body weight. But over time, I would recommend investing in some light weights that you can slowly start adding to your routine. But the key is progressive overload. It's like the hot topic nowadays, but that's been the thing for the last 50 years. Is as long as you're doing harder, more reps, or a little bit more weight week to week, you're going to get stronger and you're going to put on some muscle.
Paul? Yeah, man.
Paul Carter's awesome.
He's a great dude, man. And but that is like he beats his head. He beats his head while talking about progressive overload. Like, no,
don't overcomplicate it. It's not hard at all.
That's right, man. That's right. Yeah, that's been his message recently for quite some time. He's going intensely on that. Is don't overcomplicate it, man. If you can do more weight, you're getting stronger. If you can do more repetitions with that, you're getting stronger. If you're getting to the point where like you said, you're just doing body weight, there is going to be some neurological compensation that goes on there maybe, but the strength is going to plateau unless you are monitoring, and which makes you have to pay attention to that. You have to track it, take a look, make sure that you are actually progressing. You're not going to guess your way through that kind of stuff.
Just really pay attention to the quality of your reps. And if you're just going to do body weight, add in some tempos. That's a great way to turn up the intensity, which means slowing down the push-ups. See how many reps you can do going 3 seconds down, 1 second up, or with pauses, isometrics at the bottom of the rep. There's so many different variations that you could add intensity to your routines that can help kind of lengthen the great longevity for those exercises. But hit me up on Instagram and I'll hook you up with some workouts for at home. It's just reminding yourself of that every day, that, hey, I mean, it's not perfect. Like for me, I deal with the same thing. Sometimes like I catch myself kind of going towards what the fans want to see, what my followers want to see. But I'm like, no, I can't just do that fancy fun stuff. I got to do what I need to do to actually get stronger. And so what it comes down to is setting some goals that you're going to stick to and know why you're doing them. Like if you do want to be aesthetically pleasing, that's a goal that resonates with you, it's not just for other people, then you do that. That's fine to want to look better, because it's going to make you feel more confident when you look in the mirror. And, it's okay to want to look good and feel confident. It's okay to stand proud and show other people the hard work that you're putting into the gym. That's inspiring for other people. So it's not a bad thing, but it's got to be a goal that you want to have, or it can be like, I want to get stronger, and like a performance goal. Like I want to get stronger, or I want to be able to do 20 strict pull-ups in a row, or I want to be able to run a mile in 5 minutes or less. You know, those are goals that you need to set for yourself, that no matter what, like at the end of the day, doesn't matter what other people's opinions is, you're going to have to stick to your program if you're going to hit that goal. You're going to have to keep doing those sessions and showing up for yourself when you know that, all right, in 8 weeks, I have to retest and try to get better. So I got to make sure that between now and then, I show up for my training sessions and I track and keep tracking all the work that I'm putting in, and do it in a fashion, in a way that's going to help me get there. And if you need help with that, hire a coach or find somebody who's willing to help you. And like I said before, you don't need to figure it out all on your own. You know, you need to ask for help. If it's something that you can't figure out for yourself, ask for help. And once you have a game plan, stick to it and make sure you dig deep and you figure out it's something that you really want to do. Because if it's something that you want to do, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks.
For sure. And Johnny, you're going to inspire so many other people. You know, when you pick what your thing is and what your purpose is and your specific goal that you're going after, you know, and you stay focused on that and you let yourself be consistent enough to go after it, and you know, you come across those bumps like we were talking about at the beginning, and you earn that resilience, you get back up and you stay there and you stay the course and you see the outcome of that. Doing that, literally seeing that through one time will help shift that mindset going forward for you, man. You won't, other people are going to be inspired by that. They're going to be inspired by your transformation. And then they'll just look to you to set the tone on what you want to do. You won't have people telling you, you know, what to do as much anymore. You'll have people asking you how you did what you did.
What keeps me humble is knowing that I'm not the only one that could do this, you know? And I'm also like, what keeps me humble, honestly, is like knowing that I'm not only are there other people that could do this and do it better, but there's also people that can't do what I do. And they're either from like disabilities, or they just don't have the means. They live in a country that's not free, where they don't have access to the same, like I'm fortunate to be in a place, in a position, and live in this country where I can do what I do for a living. And so I think about that, and it helps me keep me grounded. Like I could be like, oh man, I have all these followers and I'm in shape and I tell people what to do. People look up to me, but at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm lucky to be here. I'm lucky that people look up to me for advice. When starting out, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just busting my ass off, and knowing how hard it was to get here, it helps me realize like it's not to be taken for granted. You know, like people who are cocky and kind of boast a lot, like a lot of the time, you should know they're doing it for entertainment value. Like you see guys like Conor McGregor or the Paul brothers, like those guys are some of the nicest guys you're going to meet in person, but they're putting on a front to just be entertaining. I don't like it to do it that way. I like to, be the way I am in person, online as well. But at the end of the day, anybody who's successful, when you meet them and they're in real life, they're very humble, because to get to the top, to get anywhere, worth having, takes a lot of hard work, and you fall down and you have to get up a lot, and you realize you're not invincible. Life isn't just handed to you on a silver platter. Like it takes hard work to not only get somewhere, but to keep it, to stay on top. You have to keep getting better, and you realize like you're not the best, because there's constantly other people catching up to you and forcing you to keep getting better. And that's the easiest way to stay humble.
We had Gary Vaynerchuk on. One of the things that he was saying was, You said people will tell you it doesn't matter where you are, you'll be able to find people as you start to accomplish something. You'll be able to find people that will tell you you're the best, man. You're the best, you're the best, you're the best. He's like, you can't believe anything that they're saying. And you'll have people that are on the other side going, dude, you're the worst, like you're garbage. He goes, you can't believe anything they're saying either. Right. And he said, it's exactly what you said. He said, because if you look over here and you listen to these people, they'll be in the way. You got to remove them so you can look and be objective and go, no, this person right here, this guy right here, he's doing the same thing I am, but he's doing it at a higher level. He is better. So I still have something to learn. And then you look over here and these people that are like, you suck. And it's like, hold on a second. And you move them down and you're like, wait a second. No, there's perspective here too. I'm really grateful for what I have because I used to be that guy over there. I used to have that.
Yeah.
People who are struggling with all of these things that I have, I don't have to struggle with because of whatever my circumstances, my work ethic, whatever it is. So I'm extraordinarily grateful. He's like, if you keep those perspectives on both sides, and just go forward, man, you can't lose.
I love that. Yeah, that's a good perspective.
Yeah, I love the way that. So you looking at, okay, here's where I'm going now. Here's where I'm looking forward. What is kind of the next thing for you? Like when you're looking at scaling or moving forward, you're looking at your business. What is kind of your plan? If you were like, hey, 5 years out, 10 years out, whatever that looks like, what do you have on the horizon for you that you're working towards?
I really just want to help people more one-on-one, like I kind of went from one-on-one coaching and clients and community, like people in person. And COVID happened. My online business went like this. I was able to help more people. Business kind of blew up. But the more I work with people online, the more disconnected I got from in-person training with people. So I started doing a lot less coaching in person, which is what made me what I am today, having those people skills, being able to talk to people and connect and actually be there on the floor in the gym, like connecting with people is the most fulfilling thing. That's the closest thing that I've come to as building that camaraderie that I used to get from training in martial arts and grappling and boxing, is like being able to like be there in the trenches with your clients, working out, sweating it out, getting through, all those hours, back-to-back training sessions. Thankfully I was able to scale and train more people and not be in the gym so much. So I was able to make more money, but at the same time, it's been less fulfilling. And so now, okay, I can try to keep the business going online, keep serving those people with my online videos. But now I'm ready to go back to training more one-on-one people in person and online, just so I can see those people through the whole process. It's really hard to get 1,000 people to stick to a program where it's hard to touch point with them or contact them all the time. But when you're working with people one-on-one or in group settings, you're able to help them get the best results because you're with them the whole way through. So that's where I see myself here in the next 5-10 years, is just being able to, connect more again with my clients and, keep travel some more and train and teach people my system of coaching and the way I like to teach my kettlebell methods, and teaching seminars again and just living fulfilled.
So are you going to build out a team, you think, to help you do that? So you can maintain, and kind of hire so you can maintain both sides of that?
Yeah, and so from my mentors, people that I look up to, guys like Jay Ferrugia.
Jay's my boy.
Yeah, so they're telling me like, yeah, man, I scaled my business by teaching my one-on-one guys, putting them through the program for a couple years. Then that's who I hired as part of my team. Totally. Like when I first started out, my team was kind of developed out of like recency bias. Like, oh, this is okay, you're good at this, you can help me, let's do this. It's worked, but it's been a lot of work to get them to understand the way I like to do things training wise. Going forward with these one-on-one clients, I'm gonna, I think that's gonna be the way I hire anybody going forward as part of my system to help me teach and help me manage the clients. Is going to be people that have gone through the training. So,
good.
It sounds like a no-brainer. It's like, why didn't I think about that before?
It is a no-brainer, man. That's the way to, dude, it is the way to go. As we're building, as we're building things out, but as Tim and I keep building more schools, as we're building more programs, it's exactly that. We're looking for the guys too that we're going to continue to partner with. So it's like, okay, now we're going to pour into you here. You can utilize this system. We'll pour into you as you spread the message and coach more people. We'll pour into you as you build out these schools. And then, oh, you need a hire? Well, cool, man. I know this young guy, Tate, who's part of the Apogee program, and he can come over here.
Yeah.
That's it, man. Because everybody knows, and that there's the shared morals and values and work ethic. That stuff's there, and that's the way to go, man.
That's right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I definitely want to build out my own team of coaches
for sure
online as I get deeper into this and I develop my own methodology. I mean, it's all the same stuff, same soup, different bowl.
Yeah, right.
But people want to learn from us because they look up to us and they want to support us. I always tell people, anybody that's looking to like build a brand or build a business and they're afraid because they think the market is saturated or there's already too many other people doing the same thing. It's like, man, there are so many people out there who need help and are looking for help. You don't need to worry about there being enough customers or being too much competition. As long as you believe in what you're doing and you show people that you care and you give out that information and you show people that you're willing to help, they're going to want to support you because they like you.
That's right. Well, and that's one of the obvious things too, is we get to, to the end of this too, because I want to make sure we give people, because especially, we have 100,000 or so listeners per episode. I want them to know where to go to find more from you. But I want to recognize something, man. Like, as I'm sitting here talking with you and speaking with you, you have, I've built a bunch of schools around the world, and I never hire teachers. I hire educators, right? There's people that are teachers. I can have a monkey teach, right? It's follow a script and here you go. And you try. Educators, it's somebody that you can tell cares about the human being, pays attention to the human being, is somebody who's fun to be around, who is inspirational. They inspire you along the journey. And, as I'm sitting here talking to you, you remind me very much of a good friend of mine, Jose Morales, who's one of my boxing coaches back in California. Just a pure educator, man. It was like, I loved learning, the science from him, but I loved being around him more because he was also inspiring and he was making you think and he was connecting things to the real world. And I could see that in you, man, for sure. So it's I
appreciate that, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's very obvious the way you bring that, man. And that's a rare thing. So I appreciate that very much, man. For sure.
You, man.
Yeah, for sure. So tell people where to go, man. Tell people where to find you so we can blow you up even more and give you some more business.
You can check me out at ericleija.com. That's where you'll find like all my training articles, training videos, programs, where you can find my app. My app, if you want to look for that on the app store, is Primal Fit app. Find that on there. But I'm primal.swolger on Instagram and Eric Leija on Facebook. So go check me out. I'm always posting up free workouts. And if you want more, go check out my app. And if you need anything else, shoot me a DM. You want to connect, you can find me on Instagram at Primal Soldier. And awesome. I'm always down to help. So hit me up.
Super grateful, man.